In today's video, it's probably the first time you see me, but today's video we're watching the worst deaths in human history. So not gonna say too much. Let's get right into the video.
The worst deaths in human history. The last one is some serious Saw type stuff. Number 5, boiled alive. Ishikawa Goemon was an
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If I get cooked and boiled alive, like I will probably just like I know I did some fuck shit. Like if I keep it a P, like I know I did some fuck shit. Like overly fuck shit. Like you gotta think about it. If you get boiled alive, like I ain't gonna lie, if I get boiled alive, I'll be mad as hell.
outlaw who lived in the late 1500s in feudal Japan, who rose to fame stealing from the rich and sharing his spoils with the poor. In modern times, he's become somewhat of a folk hero, being portrayed in anime, movies, and video games, so it's a little hard to tell what details about his life were real and what was made up. Some say he was originally a samurai, while others say he was actually a ninja. And while historians disagree on a lot of things, there's one thing they all agree on. His public execution, where he was boiled alive, was extremely cruel and unusual. But first, let's get into how he ended up in that situation. Goemon lived in a Japan ruled by Hideyoshi Toyotomi, a powerful warlord called a daimyo, who would become known as one of the 3 great unifiers of Japan. Uniting a country of samurais and ninjas is a bloody business, with a lot of collateral damage, and one story goes that Goemon's wife was unalived in one of Toyotomi's conquests, which made him hungry for revenge. Another story says he just hated Toyotomi.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely getting revenge. Like immediately though. Like if I was dating some female and like she get unalive, I was coming back with the mean and shit. So like I said, if you get boiled alive, it's probably reasonable.
Because he thought he was a dick and an unfair ruler. But whatever the reason, Goemon decided to assassinate the daimyo. On a warm summer night in 1594, Goemon snuck into Fushimi Castle, Toyotomi's newly constructed retirement palace, and made it all the way to the daimyo's sleeping quarters. As he slowly crept his way toward Toyotomi, he knocked over a bell that alerted guards, leading to his capture. As we'll see in this video, attempted assassinations of leaders usually do not end well for the would-be assassin, and instead of getting the standard samurai head chop execution, Goemon was instead sentenced to death by boiling, which already seems cruel enough.
Okay, so he did some stupid shit. Like, okay, so it wasn't dumb shit, it was stupid shit. So like, he tried doing he tried killing the guy with the blue hat or whatever that is on top of his head. I don't even know what it is on top of his head. And he failed to kill him. Then got caught. Then instead of getting executed right away, head simple as like think, gets boiled alive. Oh my god.
But as further punishment, Goemon's young son was also sentenced to be boiled with him.
Wow, nah, that's even crazier. Like his own son though, like I ain't gonna lie, bro. If that was me, I was not going for that.
On the day
I
of
was
his
not
execution,
going for that.
a crowd gathered in front of the Nanzenji temple in Kyoto. Goemon and his son were placed into a large iron cauldron. It was filled with water and a fire was lit to begin the execution. As the water began to boil, Goemon desperately lifted his small child above his head in an attempt to save him. From here, there are 2 versions of what happened next, and I'll let you choose which one you want to believe. The first, as Goemon was struggling to keep his son out of the boiling water, onlookers, not being able to stand the sight, rushed in to rescue the boy, leading to a somewhat happy ending, as Goemon passed away seeing his son rescued and in safe hands. The second account is, far more horrific. As Goemon painfully held his crying son above his head, he looked out at the crowd and realized that no one was coming to help them, and despite his best efforts, his son would ultimately perish that day as well. Upon this dreaded...
I'm believing the second story because like if he's getting executed, however you pronounce that word, like if he's getting executed and then he's boiling alive, I don't think nobody will help him. Realistically, you gotta really think about it. I don't think nobody will help him. Yeah, so I believe the second story. Let me know which one y'all believe, the first or the second.
Realization, Goemon plunged his child into the boiling water, unaliving him as quickly as possible, and then held his steaming body above his head again as a giant middle finger to Toyotomi and all the onlookers who did nothing.
Okay, never mind.
He
Why
stared
is
out
he
at the
doing
crowd
that?
until he eventually passed away, slumping into the boiling pot of outlaw soup. Yeah, did I mention that it only gets worse from here?
What?
Number 4, mutilation parade.
What does that
Juan
mean?
de Cañamares was a Catalan peasant who in 1492 committed the biggest of no-nos,
Bro,
trying to
1492
assassinate
was
King
fire.
Ferdinand II of Aragon, and boy, did he pay for it. But first, some backstory. In the late 1400s, the serfs in Catalonia rebelled against their king, demanding their freedom in what's known as the War of Remences. A serf, for people who have never heard the term, was kind of like a slave that couldn't be bought or sold, and was instead assigned to work a plot of land no matter who owned it. The serfs, or remensa as they were known at the time, actually won the first war of remenses after a decade of fighting, only for nothing to really change, leading to a second war of remenses, which ultimately got them the reforms they were looking for from King Ferdinand II. Kind of. They had to buy their freedom with a huge sum of money, but I guess at least that was an option. Anyways, in October of 1492, King Ferdinand and his wife Isabella, thinking everything was now cool with the serfs in Catalonia, traveled to Barcelona to conduct some official business. Things were fine for a month, and the king conducted his affairs from the royal palace. However, all this changed on December 7, 1492. As King Ferdinand was leaving the palace, Juan de Cañamares made his way through the crowd with a small sword hidden in his cape. De Cañamares snuck up behind the king and out of nowhere violently cut him from his ear to his back.
Isn't there like a game based on that? Where like you have to try killing a guy with like the knife? Maybe I'm wilding. I don't know if I'm wilding. You know what I'm talking about though? Like the game where like you have to like step back and then try killing a guy, and then like every single time the guy tried killing you have to look back. No, he looks back. Bro, never mind. Bro.
Immediately, a few
you know
of the king's men
though.
jumped on de Cañamares and stabbed him 3 times before the king, nearly passing out from his injury, commanded them to stop and keep him alive for questioning. See, the queen suspected that this assassination attempt was a plan the serfs and the entire city of Barcelona was in on, which immediately got people around de Cañamares to be like, nah, he crazy, he was totally on his own, F that guy. Nobody wanted to be sentenced to the punishment this guy was about to get. In the torture/interrogation that followed, de Cañamares confessed that he heard the devil's voice every day telling him to unalive the king, and if he did that, then he would become the new king. This let everyone else in the town off the hook, which I'm sure was a huge relief. For his punishment, de Cañamares was stripped naked, tied to a pole on a cart, and wheeled around town. You may be thinking, that seems fun, a parade around the city.
Okay, realistically, that's not really that bad.
A little embarrassing, I guess, being naked and all.
Yeah.
But oh no, we're again talking about the punishment for a royal assassination attempt here. It gets much worse. At each stop around the town, the executioner brutally removed a part of de Cañamares' body. An official account of the execution translated from...
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, if I'm holding around a thing, I'm happy about it, like I'm just strolling by, I'm happy about it, and I look down, I see a guy just pulling my leg off my foot, I'll be mad, bro. I will be overly mad. Like I don't even want to like get executed no more. Just take my life.
Spanish goes like this. First, they cut off the hand with which he hit the king, and then with burning iron tongs they took out one of his breasts, and then they took out one of his eyes, and then they cut off his other hand, and then they took out the other eye, and then the other. The blacksmiths cut off the breast, and then the nose, and the whole body with tongs, and cut off the feet, and after all the limbs were cut off, they took out the heart through the back. One source said he died after the second stop, but they kept going anyway until the end of the wagon ride, where he was stoned, and what was left of his body was burned at a stake.
Wow.
Things like this make me wonder why some people think time travel would be a fun idea.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not time traveling no more. If I was to ever be a time traveler, I'd probably like go to the future, never the past though, like never the past. 'Cause you gotta think about it, I'm black. If I would have went in the past in 1960, 1940, 1920, 1800, I would have got straight put into slavery. Segregation. Like I'm never going to the past, like ever, especially because of my skin color. So I'll probably go in the future, like realistically.
Number 3, molten gold. Valerian was a Roman emperor who ruled from 253 AD to 260 AD, a title that's usually pretty sweet. Power, prestige, the whole empire at your feet. But as we all know, with great power comes great opportunities to mess up spectacularly. And Valerian's mistake led to him suffering one of...
Hey, I know I ain't see that photo, right? He poured gold in his mouth? No.
The worst deaths an emperor could ever imagine. During Valerian's reign, the Persians, led by King Shapur I, began attacking Roman territory. Deciding he had had enough, Valerian personally led his army into battle against the Persian army of King Shapur. Valerian thought he could march in, flash some swords, and be home in time for a nice goblet of wine. But, surprise, surprise, the Persians were a little tougher than expected. In the Battle of Edessa, the Persians decisively defeated Valerian's army, and he and his men were taken prisoner. As a captive, Valerian got the...
I would have been mad as hell if I just went out there all pride high and all that just to get defeated. Like, I'll probably look at my soldiers like, fuck you, like, that ass, like, fuck you. Like, I'll probably look at my soldiers mad as hell. I'll be mad as hell. I ain't gonna lie, I was taking a boot.
VIP treatment. Very intense punishment. Shapur really got off on the fact that the Emperor of Rome was now his prisoner and subjected Valerian to the most humiliating punishments. He used Valerian as his personal footstool. Every time Shapur wanted to ride his horse, he would make Valerian get on all fours and step on him to get on his horse. Talk about a career downgrade. But the humiliation didn't stop there. Valerian was also paraded around like a trophy, a living example of Persian dominance. Here's where it gets really, really not fun for Valerian. There are some differing stories on how Shapur really offed him, but the most popular story is that Valerian tried to bribe Shapur for his release by offering a mountain of gold. This gave Shapur a great idea, and he forced Valerian to swallow molten gold as punishment, which ultimately did him in. The second way people think he may have died was that Shapur had him skinned alive. Also,
yo, they treated my guy bad. First it was a stepping stool and pouring gold in the mouth. Oh my god, yo, if I'm just sitting back looking gold going into my mouth, I would have been tight. Like, there's really nothing you could do. Like, you really just like a prisoner, you just getting gold. Like, you know it's gonna harden soon, like, so you just gotta take it. And then getting skinned alive, like the second story, like, it's not even either or. Like, you're just looking, your skin is getting taken off. Like, it's not even either or.
Terrible, but whatever version you want to believe, after Valerian was dead, Shapur had his skin stuffed and displayed him as a trophy animal that he would show off to guests. From ruler...
That look... Oh, that's Rain, but that little guy is a devil, like...
of one of the most powerful empires in the world to being a janky scarecrow. Valerian's story is one for your nightmares.
Yeah,
Number 2,
I'll be scared
roasted
of that guy.
eggplant. Okay, for this next one, I
Roasted
originally
what?
wanted to talk about someone else, but it turns out William Wallace, you know, the guy Mel Gibson made the movie Braveheart about in the 1990s, died the exact same brutal way. Which makes me think the English really did not mess around with executions in the 1300s. This death is absolutely horrific, and so much worse than the one shown at the end of the movie.
Yo, if I got my Yamin burned off, yo, I would be so... Bro, like... And then I died? Like, yeah, nah.
For those of you who didn't watch the wildly entertaining, but historically inaccurate movie Braveheart, William Wallace was a Scottish knight who was a central figure in the First Scottish War for Independence in the late 13th and early 14th century. He led the Scots in many battles against the English, most notably in the Battle of Stirling Bridge, where he led a small army to a decisive victory over a much larger English force. Okay. By the early 1300s, he was declared a traitor to the English crown, which he argued didn't make sense because he never pledged his loyalty to the English king. But the king was like, roasted eggplant says what? What? Exactly! In August of 1305, he was ultimately captured and sentenced to death in a way that would be considered barbaric in today's modern society. On August 20...
That's not even barbaric. That's some nut shit. Like, you gotta... She told me the guy pulled down his pants, he watched his little Yamin fly out his pants and burned it. Like, wow.
23rd, 1305, Wallace was stripped naked and dragged through the city of London at the heels of a horse until they reached the elms at Smithfield. He was then strangled by hanging, but released gasping for air just as he was passing out. Then, I'm not making this up, his eggplant was cut off and thrown into a fire right in front of his eyes. He was then gutted, while again...
Hey, man, hey, hold on. They bugging. They just took his Yamin off and threw it in the fire? Oh, my God. Not only that he had to pull his pants down and they should see his Yamin, they gonna cut it off and then throw it in the fire like that's normal.
Still alive and made to watch his entrails be thrown into the fire.
What's wrong with
Finally,
people?
He was beheaded, and his body was chopped into 4 pieces and sent throughout the kingdom to be displayed as a warning. His head was dipped in tar and placed on a spike on London Bridge. Needless to say, he was not yelling, "Freedom!" like in the movie. And like I said earlier, there was another guy who was executed in the exact same way with the roasted eggplant and everything. Man, the Middle Ages were rough. Number 1, Iron Throne.
What does that mean?
This one is some literal Saw movie type stuff, so click away if you're not into that.
Wait.
György Doja was a decorated Hungarian soldier who led a massive peasant revolt in 1514. What initially began as the recruitment of a peasant army for a crusade against the Ottoman Empire quickly turned into an all-out revolution when these peasants collectively realized how crappy they were all being treated and changed the target of the crusade to their landlords and nobles. Talk about an Uno reverse. Doja, being sympathetic to these common folk, found himself leading this army in what was later known as Doja's Rebellion. Armed with limited weapons, but fueled by rage, the army of peasants began burning towns, slaughtering landlords, and taking over castles and forts.
Okay.
Everything was all going great with this new crusade, until, well, it wasn't. The tide turned when the nobles decided they didn't really like this new crusade. Led by a powerful Hungarian noble, John Zapolya, the nobles crushed Doja's forces in a decisive battle.
Wow.
Doja was captured, and unfortunately,
God.
Zapolya was not in a forgiving mood. He wanted to make an example out of Doja, and he came up with a punishment so gruesome it makes the other stuff on our list look like a spa day. Doja was made to sit on a throne. That doesn't seem that bad. Oh, this throne was made of burning hot iron. As Doja painfully sat cooking on his new throne, a red-hot iron crown was placed on his head, and a similarly heated scepter was placed in his hand to mock his brief kingship during the revolt. This wasn't just an execution, it was a medieval roast, literally.
They just making him, like, suffer. Oh my God.
Next, 9 of Doja's starving followers were brought in and offered a special meal, pieces of their roasted master. Pliers were taken out of a fire and used to rip flesh from Doja's body. The peasants were ordered to take bites of Doja from the area
I ain't gonna lie, they gotta kill me. They gotta kill me. Like, there's no way I'm eating that. They gotta kill me.
Pliers had cooked and torn away. Imagine being so hungry you'd eat anything, and then being ordered to eat the guy who had been your biggest hero. Any peasant who refused to eat their boss was cut into pieces on the spot.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they gotta cut me into pieces. It's like, I ain't gonna lie, if I'm walking in the room like this, hands, boom, walking over, and I just see them rip a piece off my boss, man, kill me. I ain't gonna lie, you gotta kill me.
Showing the other peasant rebels that the nobles meant business. Eventually, Doja succumbed to his injuries, and the peasants who ate a piece of their former hero were let go with trauma that probably lasted the rest of their life.
Okay, so if I was getting let go, then, yeah, I mean, if I was getting let go, then, like...
Oh, and Zapolya? He went on to become the king of Hungary.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Hope y'all enjoy it.